All right. Thanks for joining today's webinar. We're going to talk about earning college credit on my time. Where can I take a CLEP exam? Let me start by just doing a brief introductory of CLEP. So today's webinar is really a short topical session on specifically on where to take a CLEP exam. So let's talk about what CLEP is. So CLEP is an acronym. It stands for the College Level Examination Program. CLEP is designed to provide learners of all ages the opportunity to earn college credit by exemplifying mastery in 34 different subject areas. Again, learners learn content various ways. CLEP is the tool then that can provide learners of all ages the opportunity to show mastery of that college level material. That way, when they enroll in college, that CLEP exam has met a course in college, and they can move on to the subsequent course. Who's eligible for CLEP exams? So when we talk about our military folk, specifically our Dante's test takers. So Dante's is the branch that supports voluntary educational services, including credit by examination, and CLEP is one of those exams. This chart shows who's eligible for CLEP exams. And when I talk about being eligible, CLEP is open to everyone, but these specific categories of folks receive funding the first attempt at all 34 CLEP exams at no cost. So Dante's funded CLEP test takers include all active duty military spouses of Coast Guard, and those who are MyCAA eligible, as well as DoD civilian employees of the Air Force. CLEP again is timed 90-minute exams. CLEP is always proctored and delivered at CLEP test centers or remotely. So however you choose to take a CLEP exam, you must be taking it in the presence of what we call a CLEP test center administrator. CLEP has no preset exam administration dates, so students can test whenever they are ready. We like to say that CLEP is delivered 24/7. So again, registering for an exam and then scheduling of that exam can happen almost any time a learner is ready to take the exam, with our most recent launch of remote proctoring, and I'll share those details in just a bit. Once a student takes a CLEP exam, they can select to send their scores to 2 institutions. And currently we have over 2,900 colleges and universities that award college credit for CLEP. One thing I like to note as we talk about CLEP is that test takers receive a point for each correct answers. For answers that are skipped or incorrect, there is no deduction taken. So it's important as you go through an exam to do your best for those questions that you know, and for those that you don't know the answer, or you aren't sure, a process of elimination is helpful so that you can maximize the chances of answering a question correctly. For students who don't earn a score they like, that college credit granting score, we do have a 90-day retest waiting period. For Dante's funded test takers, any second attempt at a CLEP exam would be an out-of-pocket expense. Again, Dante's funds the first attempt at all 34 exams. This is the list of our 34 CLEP exams. You'll see that broad categories include history and social science, business, composition and literature, science and mathematics, and the world languages. As you review the subject areas, you'll see most of them match those general ed electives or general education core requirement courses, whether you're going for an associate's degree or bachelor's degree. That way, by earning the college credit through CLEP, you move on to the next course in the series when you enroll in the college or university. CLEP testing is open to anybody. We do have a requirement that you're age 13 or older. There is no need to ask permission to take a CLEP test. It's really any learner who's prepared and ready to test is able to do so. Students would create a College Board account. If you're a Dante's funded test taker, you'll be asked if you're eligible for funding. And if you're one of those categories on the previous chart, you are. So this is something you can do on your own time before you enroll in college or university as a way to accelerate time to degree, as well as maximizing eligible educational benefits while in serving in the military. I want to share just a brief video. It talks about a program that can help students prepare, and we'll talk a little bit about preparation, even though we're talking about where can I test today. Let me just share this with you and then we'll chat on the other side.
I wanted to share my story because I want other people to take advantage of the amazing benefits that Modern States helps provide and the U.S. military also helps provide. I wanted to get my college degree while I was doing my 4-year enlistment, and I wasn't sure that was going to be possible. And my recruiter said, "Hey, you can go for it, try to shoot for it," but basically said that's not really realistic because you have all these other training requirements, and then you're going to be working full time, of course, so you're not going to be having time to do classes. But through Modern States and CLEPs, I was able to test out of so many in the beginning that I was able to continue through the end of my degree, and I ended up finishing my bachelor's before I finished my 4-year enlistment, which was just super beneficial to me, and I'm so grateful for. And now I'm attending Pepperdine with my GI Bill, and I didn't have to tap my GI Bill at all for my undergrad. I was the 2021 Airman of the Year at the 19th Airlift Wing, which is basically my base in Little Rock, Arkansas. And the Air Force especially really values education, and I have no doubt that honor would have been bestowed to someone else without the education that I've been pursuing. It's a big indicator to leadership that you are serious about developing yourself and being a better person for the Air Force. And so they definitely noticed that, and it was a huge honor to receive that award. I ultimately became a staff sergeant, a non-commissioned officer, towards the end of my time in the Air Force, which was a huge milestone that very few 4-year enlistees are able to reach. It's possible. I never completely found out officially, but it's entirely possible. I was the youngest staff sergeant in the Air Force for a brief period of time, thanks to college, Modern States, and all those tests. And I ultimately got paid significantly more over the course of my 4 years because of the advanced rank.
Thanks. So I shared Trent's story as a reminder to all of us this great benefit of being afforded the opportunity to take CLEP exams, again, is a terrific benefit. However, preparation is really key to this. And so I share the Modern States piece because CLEP, although it's always been based on the premise to earn college credit for what you know, it's a great way, Modern States is a great tool to help learners of all ages prepare for CLEP exams. So whether you have familiarity in the subject, but just want to double check and verify and refresh that content, Modern States is a resource for you. Or whether you'd like to learn a new subject and take the corresponding CLEP exam, Modern States again is a resource for you. So it's free, no cost, online, asynchronous. No, if there's any extra materials outside of the lectures that are taught by college and university professors, that's no cost as well. So if you haven't heard of Modern States, I encourage you to do so. Again, their website was modernstates.org. You would register for courses, no strings attached. So just a great preparation tool for anyone interested in preparing for CLEP exams. As far as getting back to the topic, let's talk about where we can take a test. So CLEP is delivered digitally, like I said, at CLEP test centers. We have about 2,000 test centers worldwide. Most of our test centers are at college and university campuses. We have military installations that are CLEP test centers, small businesses, high schools, and remote proctoring is another option for CLEP test takers to test on. Remote proctoring came to be in April of 2021 as a result of the pandemic. In March of 20, many CLEP test centers were paused. And we know it's been a struggle as staffing changes and work from home has increased. It's been a challenge perhaps for some of these CLEP test centers to fully staff and be operational again. To meet that requirement, we've offered remote proctoring as an additional option of test delivery. That way, test takers can test from the convenience of their home, their office, etc. If you're interested in taking a CLEP exam remotely, I need to share with you the technical requirements for doing so. Anyone who wants to test remotely needs to have a private room. Again, I think it's self-sufficient, but what it really means is that you can't be in a living room with other folks around. You can't be in a coffee shop. You have to be by yourself at that time, that duration of that test administration. Also, test takers need to have a Windows-based computer, so it has to be a desktop or a PC laptop. That means no Chromebook and no MacBook, and that's just a requirement of the test delivery platform. The computer also has to have a speaker, a microphone, and a webcam. CLEP exams are always proctored, so the remote proctor is using a chat feature to monitor the session, so that it's not someone that you'll see watching you, but they are able to monitor the session. So you need to have those features available on the computer where you take your exam. Also, for our test takers who like to take notes, whether that's on a Spanish language exam where you're noting the listening components on the conversations, or it's a math CLEP exam where you're troubleshooting equations, erasable whiteboards are permitted. So something that you can do your note taking on upon completion prior to signing off of the test session. You would show that erasable whiteboard that all items have been erased to the proctor through the webcam so they can ensure that no test item has been removed. It's a security feature for the CLEP program. Also, if you are remote proctored testing, you have to have an internet connection for the duration of the exam. So you have to be able to either hardware or Wi-Fi for the 90-minute duration of the exam. So again, if you're interested in remote proctoring, you would go onto the College Board website through the College Board account, register for your exam. It will then ask you your preferred test center. You would select remote proctoring, register for the exam. Again, if you identified yourself as Dante's funding eligible, the price will be $0. So Dante's also funds the cost of the remote proctoring fee. Then subsequently, you will schedule your exam with ProctorTrack. You will, again, schedule that offline. The ProctorTrack is available 9, 12, 3, 6, 9. So almost, like I said, 24/7. So on the weekends, whenever it's most convenient for you. It does require you to download the app, the ProctorTrack app that the test will be administered through on test day. Again, on your Windows-based computer, and doing that all at the time that you register will make it super helpful. So on test day, you'd be ready to go. For those of you who prefer to take a CLEP exam at a test center or don't have the equipment that I described earlier, we have a tool for you on our website where you can search for a CLEP test center near you. The QR code will bring you to the website, which will then have this blue button where you can hit Start Search. What happens once you hit that button is you will place your information in the search by location. So you can pick your country as required, your state, you could just hit search from there. If you put in your zip code, you can search there and it'll ask you how many mile radius you'd like to do. I think it starts at 10 to 15 to 25 miles away. That way you'll get a list of test centers that you can search for or look at, determine what's best. And then those test centers are where you would go to schedule your appointment. Some will have directions to do an online scheduling tool. Some test centers will have perhaps a phone number to call to schedule that center. So again, it's important to know that CLEP is a two-part process. First, registering for the exam, and second, finding a location. For those of you who have a test center on base, you can just check the hours that they're available to do testing and determine if they need an appointment. Many do. CLEP is a popular exam, and so again, with those needing to be proctored by a live individual, you want to make sure that when you're ready to test, the test center is ready for you. We also have, as you search for test centers, we have colleges and universities that we've partnered with to become what we call Dante's funded. So this is an example. If you were doing a search within a certain mile radius of zip code, this is in the Twin Cities area of Minneapolis and St. Paul, you could see here that this test center at HTC, Brooklyn Park campus, is what we call Dante's funded. Again, you've registered for your exam. Dante's funded means there's no out-of-pocket expense. Generally, Hennepin Technical College would charge an additional fee, but we've contracted with them to not charge that to our Dante's Fund test takers. Instead, you register there, and we, along with Dante's, provides funding for your exam administration. So no out-of-pocket expense. I'm just trying to reduce any obstacles so that you can complete testing. Again, I like to always mention that CLEP score sends prior to exam day. CLEP allows for 2 score sends to be sent. So you can pick a college A, college B, and have those scores sent later. You'll also have access to your scores for 10 years in your College Board account. For our Dante's folks, in order to request a transcript of your CLEP transcript, you can go online through the Parchment Transcript Ordering Service. There's a $30 fee. And again, this QR code will bring you to the College Board website to give you further instructions. If you haven't used the service before, you will need to create an account. It's important to note that CLEP exams, the primary purpose for taking CLEP exams is to earn college credit. So we strongly encourage you to do your due diligence and meet with educational service officers, college counselors, to determine what CLEP exams are accepted, at what score, and what course it equates to. Many of our learners don't need help finding elective credits. They really want to have that CLEP course match. So again, we encourage students to do their due diligence, research their post-secondary institution of choice to determine what that institution's CLEP policy is. Again, Dante's also has more information to help learners on their educational path. You can use this QR code to get to the Dante's website. There's information on preparing for college and career planning, get college credit for what you know, which is the credit by exam programs, and educational support services. Again, I said today would be a brief webinar. What I have here is another QR code that will bring you to our CLEP webpage for the military folks. So please use that. Again, we keep the website up to date as our gold source with all the latest information. So please use that QR code to find out more. Again, if you have questions, you can hang on for a second and use the Q&A code. Otherwise, thanks for your time today. I appreciate it.